So welcome back to another video on this channel. Today, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail of this video, I'm going to be going through and essentially just making and building from scratch my fantasy Premier League team for the 2020-21 campaign, which does of course start this weekend. Now, I've been doing fantasy Premier League for years now. I think the earliest I can remember was the 2010-2011 campaign, and this year around I'm going to be recording my selections and obviously the team I make overall. And I have to admit, I haven't actually checked the app whatsoever, so I haven't got any idea as to who I'm going to pick yet. And yeah, let's get straight into this video now, building my fantasy Premier League team for the 2020-21 Premier League campaign. Right, so as you can see on your screen right now, we have the Fantasy Premier League app opened on my iPad, so let's get straight into picking the team now. Team name. We're just going to go with WCBFC, which of course stands for World Class Ballers Football Club. I have read and agreed the terms and conditions, and let's get into selecting my Fantasy Premier League team for this season. Now, straight off the bat, I don't think there's any question marks about this one. Kevin De Bruyne, 11.5 million get in my team. I mean, for obvious reasons, of course. He's at least going to get like 30 goal contributions this season, of course, if City's season does go to plan. And yeah, he just has to be in my team. Now we're going to go for a striker, and I think I'm going to back my man Timo Werner. I actually was debating whether I was going to include him in this team or not. I wasn't originally going to pick Timo Werner, but I think because he's had so long to prepare with this Chelsea team and kind of gel in with this team, and yeah, I think I'm going to have to go for him because of course I think he will score a lot of goals for us next season. And not partly down to the fact as well that we have this man that I'm going for, Kai Havertz, 8.5 million, an absolute bargain in my opinion, because if Havertz does fulfill his potential this season, I think he could get at the very least like 20, 25, maybe even 30 goal contributions this season. And yeah, it looks like he will be starting the opening weekend against Brighton. Actually, that's one of the main reasons why I haven't put Hakim Ziyech in this team, because apparently he's injured for the first few weeks. Because if he wasn't, I would have put him straight in this team. But yeah, I'm going to go for Havertz and Werner because of course our attack this season, of course I'm a Chelsea fan, is looking pretty lethal, so I think it would be unfair to not have at least two of our attackers in there. Right, let's see what else we have in the midfielder section. I think I'm going to go for either Sadio Mane or Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I'm aiming slightly towards Aubameyang, even though he plays for a worse team, because of course Aubameyang is a striker. He's going to score a lot more goals, which means of course that he will get more points because he's put down in this for some reason as a midfielder. It's a flip of a coin between Mane and Aubameyang really for me. You know what, I'm going to go for Mane simply because he's in a better team that are going to score a lot more goals. And just so far the attack is looking lethal. I know for a fact that I'm not going to be able to get away with this financially, and I might have to make some changes, but so I think I'm going to have to go for a cheaper option now. Actually, what I completely forgot to do as well that I do every year is pick my 4 subs as the cheapest options, because to save money for the first team. Okay, so substitutes, we're going to go with David Button for West Brom because I think he'll play quite a bit if Johnston is injured. Defenders, the cheapest ones here, I'm going to go with Nico Williams, I think. Actually no, I'm going to go with Nathan Ferguson because although he's injured, I think he's going to play a lot of games for West Brom when he's back from injury. God, there's a lot of options I can pick for midfielders in terms of the cheapest ones. Who should I go for though? I'm going to go for Yves Bissouma from Brighton because I think he will play quite a lot, even though he might not get enough goals or assists, but like he'll play a lot of games. And I think actually what I'm going to do is go 3-4-3, so I'm going to pick another sub defender, and in that case I'm going to go for Nico Williams, who's at the very bottom. So yeah, there we go. Now I actually need a good enough defender now. I think I might go for Matt Doherty purely because I think he's a really good signing for Tottenham. I think he'll do a lot for them going forward. So yeah, I'm going to go for Matt Doherty so far. Then in terms of the goalkeeper, I need a good goalkeeper. See, the obvious choice for me is Nick Pope because, you know, Burnley are a really solid team and Nick Pope did win the Golden Glove last season, but I think that Burnley haven't strengthened enough and I think they could be on the end of some batterings this season. I think one thing's for sure, I'm not going for Kepa because whether or not he'll play is one thing, but of course Chelsea's defence has been, let's just say, not the best in recent times. You know what, I'm going to go for a bit of a wild punt. I'm going to go with Alex McCarthy from Southampton because of course they have strengthened their defence quite a lot with Salisu and Walker Peters. I think he could be a decent enough option because Southampton's defence is kind of sound anyway. I'll probably end up changing this team a bit before the actual Premier League starts, but for now we're going to go with Alex McCarthy in goal. Now we're going to go for a cheap midfielder, and I think I have someone in mind here, but I'm going to have to try and find him down the list. Son Maximin of 5.5 million is looking quite tasty, I have to say. That's quite a good deal for him actually. I think Adama Traore is one as well that a lot of people are going to be getting in because he gets a lot of assists down the right hand side with his pace. Now, do you know what, I'm going to actually go for Alon San Maximin because Newcastle of course have just signed Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, so that's more firepower for him to get goals and assists. So yeah, where is San Maximin? There he is. Alon San Maximin completes my midfield of Havertz, Mane and De Bruyne, of course, alongside the man ASM. Kind of need a good striker to go next to Werner, someone kind of cheap that's going to bag in the goals for a mid-table team maybe. I'm very tempted to go for someone like Mitrovic because because if Fulham are going to stay up, he's going to be a vital part to that with his goals. I think when Batshuayi goes to Crystal Palace, he's rumoured to be going on loan, of course. I think if Batshuayi goes to Crystal Palace, I might put him in because I think for a smaller side, he could do the business. I would go for Danny Ings, but I just don't think he'll have the same amount of goals as he got last season, and I think for 8.5 million, there's better options out there. I think strikers are pretty much the hardest ones to go for because you're taking a gamble on who will score the most goals. I'm going to go for Martial for now anyway, because I think he will score quite a few goals at the start of the season at least. I'm going to need a cheap defender now to kind of bring the cost of this team down. I'm going to go for Reece James as my third Chelsea player. £5 million is not a bad deal for him considering he'll get a lot of assists down that right hand side. I want to try and find a defender that has a goal threat to him from corners and stuff like that, because I'm trying to remember who scored the most goals from defence last season in the Premier League. I'm going to go for Kieran Tierney because I think he'll be decent down that left hand side for Arsenal, so I think that's going to complete my defence. And then we have 6.5 million to buy a striker for this team. Now there's not many options for that price range, I'm not going to lie. I think Mikel Antonio could be a decent option, but West Ham's start to the season is just absolutely ridiculous. I could go for a punt and go for someone like Neil Maupay or Rodrigo from Leeds. For me at this moment in time, it's between Callum Wilson, Alexander Mitrovic and Rodrigo probably. You know what, I'm going to go for Callum Wilson. I'm going to go for him alongside Son Maximin. I'll probably end up putting Ollie Watkins in this once he's actually on the game because of course he did sign for Aston Villa today. But as you can see on your screen, that is my team complete. I think I'm going to make a few minor adjustments because I'm not actually fully satisfied with this team just yet, I have to say. Actually, John, I'm going to do, right, I'm going to take out Callum Wilson. I'm going to pick one of the cheapest strikers, so we'll go with Ryan Brewster. Then I'm going to take out Basuma and get a midfielder worth, how much will I have left? 6.5 million for a midfielder. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play 3-5-2. So 6.5 million for a midfielder. I think Jared Bowen's a decent option. Phil Foden, he'll play a lot more for City this year. I could go Milivojevic just because he takes set pieces for Crystal Palace, but I'm not sure if that would be a good enough return. I'm kind of drawn here between, I think Phil Foden could be a decent one. I think he'll play a lot more for City now that David Silva's gone, but will Pep actually play him week in, week out? I'm not so sure. I'm going to go for Nathan Redmond or Ayoze Perez, I think. I think they're the two that are really standing out for me at the moment. Who has the easier first run of games? I think I'm going to go for Ayoze Perez. I think he could actually score a few goals and get a few assists for Leicester early on in the season. So yeah, I think that is my team completed if I'm not mistaken. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm actually going to stick with that team for now. I might make a few changes in the next 24 hours or so when I wake up tomorrow morning and probably realise what the hell have I done. But sub on Perez for Nico Williams. And yeah, who will I captain for the first game week? Obviously De Bruyne and Martial I'm going to have to wait because they're not actually playing on the first game week. Do you know what? I'm going to back my boy Timo Werner. I'm going to put Mane as the vice captain and put my boy Timo Werner, of course, from RB Leipzig, as my captain against Brighton Hove Albion on the Monday Night Football. And yeah, as you can see on your screen right now, that is the full team I have gone for. So in goal we have Alex McCarthy. The back three then is Matt Doherty, Reece James and Kieran Tierney. The midfield five is Kevin De Bruyne, Kai Havertz, Sadio Mane, Alain San-Maximin and Ayoze Perez. And up front I have the double duo of Timo Werner and Anthony Martial. And yeah, that is the team I'm going to be starting this Premier League campaign with at this moment in time, of course subject to change in the next 24 hours or so. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with any of the selections I've made in this video, as of course this is a very big gamble that I've gone for. And to be fair, I think Fantasy Premier League at the very start especially is mainly a gamble because of course you have no idea who's going to do badly and who's going to do well. But yeah, that is my Fantasy Premier League team for the upcoming 2020-21 campaign. Now if you want me to make a Fantasy Premier League, then follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. It is at NoahMalive14 because I might tweet a link to join my league if I do make one, of course, in the next 24 hours or so. And yeah, come get involved in that league, of course, if it does go ahead. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to end this video. So if you did enjoy it, make sure to drop a like on the video down below. That'd be very much appreciated. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new because of course Premier League content coming soon, of course, for the Premier League on the weekend. I'm going to be doing live reactions for a lot of the games in the weekend. And yeah, make sure to subscribe because of course we want to hit 500 subscribers as soon as we can. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.